I just finished up another training session. I'm wiping everything down and cleaning like I always do, putting all the equipment away. And the last thing that I'm getting ready to put away is this exercise mat. And as I'm about to get down, roll it up and tuck it aside, I came to think about what exactly I'm about to share with you right now. You see, so many times during classes, whether it's a large group session or even maybe all the way down to a one-on-one, most times I have an exercise mat out because we're going to be using it for abdominals, crunches, stretching, whatever the case is, but it's almost always here. And I find that many people do this one thing almost all the time. I've been seeing it for years. Now, let's say I tell you to get down and do a particular exercise, or just to roll it out, get ready, whatever it is, this thing is here. And if I tell people to do lunges, I'll demonstrate it doing it on the floor. However, those people tend to come onto the mat and do their lunges right here. Or they'll do their squats right here. Maybe there's an exercise on the floor and they'll, I'll come up with an example real quick. Let's say I tell people to do a plank. And so what they do, they come down to the mat and they get in their plank position. So let's say I want them to extend and open their legs throughout the plank movement for a certain period of time. This is what I see so very often. Stepping just to the edges of the mat. Maybe the same thing with just the hands. So what do? They're here and they're going within the width, just within the width of the mat. Now, I didn't tell you to do your lunges on the mat. I didn't tell you to do your squats on the mat. I didn't tell you to have your feet the exact width of the mat. And in that movement that I just described, I never told them that they could not open their legs, open their hips this wide out to allow for that much more movement or resistance or whatever it is that we're shooting for in that particular exercise. Why do we, and probably very subconsciously, restrict ourselves to walls and boundaries that don't even exist? This mat is 24 inches wide. There is nothing that says that you cannot move outside of those lines. You see, far too often in life, what we see as boundaries becomes a boundary for us. We don't realize that if we bring our work, our efforts, our strengths outside what we believe to be our boundaries or limitations, there's that much more that we can do. There's that much more that we can achieve. The results, the outcome, there is so much more abundance out here, but we tend to just restrict ourselves to these four walls. I challenge you, think outside the walls. Think outside the boundaries. You hear me say it often, that infinite mentality. There is no limits. There is no boundaries. Step outside. Go a little further. Go a little wider. Push a little harder, because these walls exist nowhere other than in our minds. And once we become conscious of the fact that these walls don't exist and there's that much more out there around us, once you become conscious of that, watch how much more abundance you get. Watch how bigger and greater the results. Watch how much more satisfied you are with whatever it is that you're doing, because you decided to go a little bit further than what you thought you could. I hope this message hit home for you. I hope it serves for you. And if it's not for you, hey, no problem. But please hit the share button or send it to somebody else, because you know there's somebody out there that needs to hear that there's more outside. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's get there.